Did you hear that Indiana passed a sweeping voucher bill ending 160 years of public-funded public education? Diane, public contracting is often referred to as privatization, but that label is misleading. Wrong on that one, old Diane. Outsourcing public funds equals privatization. Now we know. Congress should not make laws about how to reform schools. They don't know how to do it. Congress should focus on the quality, not quantity, of the nation's teaching corps. We need to raise expectations for students and stop beating up on teachers. Every classroom should have a well-educated, knowledgeable teacher. We are far from that goal today. Parents and teachers are on the same side, the students. Closing schools, firing teachers is no help. The public school system would be strengthened by the ability to shut down bad schools. It is unjust. There is no realistic way to force the closure of schools that students and parents would abandon if they could. Please, let little children have their childhood before the testing frenzy begins and they are told their deficiencies. Without testing, there's no consistent way to measure success or failure. The Texas model has successfully improved the performance of Black and Hispanic students. There never was a Texas miracle. At best, it was wishful thinking. At worst, it was a lie. Meanwhile, the Texas model of testing and accountability has been foisted onto the nation by a credulous Congress. Will they rectify their error? Will they stop the wanton destruction of American public education? Public education is not endangered by any of the proposed changes on the table. The real threat is the unwillingness of public officials to aggressively shake up and redesign the system. Test scores are determined mostly by factors beyond teachers' control, especially poverty and special ed needs. Instead of blaming the schools, we should get best thinkers to find innovative ways to reduce poverty. There's a tendency to rationalize poor performance by implying that poverty equals destiny and so no one is to blame for failure. The challenge to public education is not to reinforce the correlation between achievement and social class, but to sever it. If the current system is successful for only half of students, then new approaches must be sought to help everyone else. Vouchers don't work. Charters range from excellent to abysmal but don't get better results on average than regular public schools. Privatization does not produce better education, leads to skimming, exclusion, boasting, undermines public education. Some studies suggest that the school system in Milwaukee has responded positively to competition with non-public schools. Another concluded that the presence of charter schools in Arizona actually led to improvements in the regular district schools. Even if we found no difference in performance between charter, voucher, and regular public schools, it would not be a victory for the status quo. If the public schools cannot do better than these alternatives, it should be up to the parents. Privatizers and corporate reformers' rhetoric about achievement gap and concern for poor kids to push vouchers destroy public education. Privatizers have money and power. Teachers and parents have numbers, no money. I have come to believe that talk of closing the achievement gap is facade for privatization. Poor kids used. Kids and teachers' lives are being ruined. Vouchers and charters will not destroy public education. This is an incredible and fantastic fear. It is hard to understand the hysteria stirred by the fear of choice with regard to the public schools.